Okay, we're going to start by going to the PowerPack connection vault. We'll left click on this. And in here, we'll come down to categories till we see Purlins. Select that. And then we're going to go to the Omega Purlin connection. We'll be looking at that right now. So select objects. When you click on it, it's going to ask you to select your main member. Right click. Your first secondary member. Right click. And your second secondary member. Right click. And you can see now you're going to get a connection that comes up where it's bolted together to a secondary shape that gets placed in the middle. In order to see that, I'm going to change from conceptual to 2D wireframe. And you can see the shape is in there. And then you get your dialog box that appears. In here, you have the connection section. So you can come in here and select the type of section you want to use. You have rectangular and square by default, plus many others should you need them. And then the size that you want to use. You can set the length of that shape by value. It'll center it on the main member and then set the overall length of that to whatever you type in here. If you prefer, you can go to projections, in which case you will type in a value and it will project to one side or the other. And then you can set it unequal distances if that's what you want, so that one side is longer than the other or shorter than the other, and you can set that to whatever you prefer. Then you have also the option here for gap. And if we look down here between the secondary members, it's left a gap. So initially they were flush, one up against the other. You can control that gap in here by typing in a value, and you can see it's going to spread the members apart from one another, so that way you can have whatever spacing you're looking for. Following this, we have bolts and welds. In here you can adjust the bolt diameter, the bolt type, the bolt grade, and the assembly, nut and washer, nut and two washers, etc. You can also set your weld thickness for that connection member to the main member, what is going to be that weld thickness. And then you have your bolt distances. In here, it's separated into two groups, so you have one side controlled at the top and the other side controlled at the bottom. If you set your horizontal bolt numbers to 2, you'll see you end up with 2 horizontally, and if I set the vertical bolts to 2, you'll see that you get 2 vertically. This affects only that one side, and the other side remains the same unless the bottom is adjusted. Underneath, you have control over what is the horizontal edge distance, and this is from the edge of the shape back to the center of the first bolt hole. What is the vertical edge distance? And here you can see it's from the bottom of the shape up to the center of the first hole. The intermediate distance, if I have more than one bolt horizontally, and the intermediate distance if I have more than one bolt vertically. And then the same holds true on the other side. Finally, you have your library where you can save all the values. So once you have your connection in place, you can come in, save the values, edit it, and give it a name that you're going to recognize. That is the Omega Purlin connection from the PowerPack connection vault.